Okay, happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome to the Stretch and Strengthen exercise series. Today is week 8, so it's our last class today, and I'm glad to see you all back. Our class series has been recorded, and all of the previous sessions have been uploaded onto our Parkinson Society YouTube channel. If you go onto youtube.com, you can search Parkinson Society BC, all in one word, and our account will come up, and you can always have a look at our previous exercise classes in the series if you're interested. Today's class will also be recorded and uploaded onto the YouTube channel, hopefully in the next week or so. And so you'll have the complete series to look at if you ever want to revisit the exercise class. We're using the Zoom webinar platform today, so all of your microphones are automatically muted, so we don't get any background noise coming through the audio system. But of course, if you would like to ask a question, you're welcome to use the raise hand function, in which case your microphones can be manually unmuted from me. And equally, if you don't want to ask a question over voice, you're welcome to use the chat box function, which is at the bottom banner of your screen. If you kind of wiggle your mouse, if you're on a laptop, you'll see a little banner pop up, and there's a little square icon that says chat on it. If you click on that, it will open, and you can always type your questions or comments on the chat box if you like. So I'm just going to type in the chat box here, hello. So hopefully there'll be a notification that comes up for you. So today's our last class, and as always, we are going to start the class in a seated position, and then we'll move to a standing position, and then back to a seated position again. If you are new to the class today, don't worry, that is the last class. You're more than welcome to join us. And like I mentioned, the previous sessions have been recorded, so you're more than welcome to have a look on our YouTube channel if you wanted to try out the previous classes in the series. Good morning, everyone. We do have new exercise series coming up in March and in April. So if you're interested in doing those, you can go onto the Parkinson Society website again and sign up for any of those classes. We've got boxing coming up, the April Challenger coming up. We have a new Move and Groove class on Thursdays. So definitely have a look on the website if you want to sign up for more classes in the spring. Okay, I think most people have logged on. Hopefully you can all hear me and see me okay. Last thing to mention before we get started is that the chair you're using today should ideally be a chair like this. I'll move out of the way so you can see. So you can see this chair is quite sturdy. There's no wheels on the bottom of it. There's no armrest. So ideally the chair you're using should not have an armrest, just so that way as we get moving today, you'll be able to move your arms and your body without sort of hitting your arms on anything. But of course, if you only have a chair with armrests, that's okay as well. Just be a little mindful as we're moving today that you're being careful about your surroundings. Okay, all right, well, let's get started. I think most people have entered from the waiting room. I will move back to my chair. Hopefully you'll be able to see me and hear me okay. Okay, so before I start the class today, I just want to remind you that when we're sitting up in our chair for the class today, we are assuming that we're sitting at the front of our seat. We're up nice and tall, nice weight distribution over the pelvis. What we don't want to happen is when we're seated and we're like this, okay? So just because we're sitting down in our chair for the first portion of the exercise class does not mean we should be sitting all the way back in the chair and leaning into the armrest or slouching in the chair. We definitely don't want that, okay? We want to be in an activated position. So you want to sit nice and tall, use your trunk muscles, move yourself to the front of the chair, not back here. Because if we're back here, your weight is so far back in the chair that it's actually pretty difficult for you to move in all of your ranges. Whereas if you're up here, you're in a more activated position. There's lots of ways that you can move, and your limbs are free to do so, okay? Whereas if you're back here, very difficult. So when we're doing our seated exercises today, I want you to assume that we're sitting upright and moving to the front of the seat. So I might not always say that, but I want you to bear that in mind whenever we're doing a seated exercise class. We are assuming we're sitting up tall at the front of our seat, unless I specifically tell you to slouch for one of our exercises. Okay, let's get started. Nice and tall, so we're sitting at the front of our seat, nice and activated through the trunk. We're gonna let those arms drop by our side, and we're going to start with some shoulder rolls. So you're gonna roll those shoulders up towards the earlobes and then back away from you. Nice big circles with the shoulders just to warm up. Sitting nice and tall as we're doing this, and hopefully we're not slouching back. Hopefully you're not holding your breath. Really important to breathe throughout the entire class today. Good, and we're gonna roll the shoulders forward this time. Nice big circles up towards the earlobes and then down again. Sitting up nice and tall. Good. And then we're now going to circle our entire arm backwards. Just want to make sure I'm not going to hit anything here. Let me move forward a tiny bit. Circling those shoulders, the arms all the way back. If you can't go all the way up and back, you can go a little bit less. That's okay. Just go as much as you feel you're able to. Circling the arms back. And then let's circle the arms forward in the other direction. Still sitting up nice and tall. Just like before, if you can't go all the way up and you can only kind of do this range, that's okay as well. Just go as much as you can, moving as largely as you can. And then let's drop the arms here. We're gonna go for some neck circles, chin down to the chest. And you're rolling your neck in sort of a semicircle from the bottom to the side, semicircle, making sure it's not a triangle, right? We're not doing a triangle. We're doing a semicircle, nice and smooth. I'm sure no one was actually doing a triangle, but it was just a pointer, just exaggerating with my movement so you can see. So nice, smooth semicircle at the bottom. And then when you're ready, we're gonna take it into a full circle all the way across the top and down. And then we're gonna go in the other direction. So we're gonna keep switching directions. We're gonna go one circle, one direction, one circle in the opposite direction. Pardon my sniffles today. I also have sniffles today, as I did last week. Unfortunately, the allergies are still here to stay. Keep going, nice large circle. Do this slow as well. If you feel like your neck is feeling quite stiff or doesn't feel quite comfortable for you, go a little slower, maybe a smaller range. Just be careful not to injure yourself. One more. And rest there for a second. We're gonna take our hand. We're gonna hold on to the opposite knee like so. Then the other hand's going to wrap around the back of the seat. We're sitting nice and tall, and we're going to pull ourselves around into a rotational stretch. So when we're doing this rotational stretch, we're not leaning to the side, we're sitting upright. So it's like you're rotating on the axis, like a corkscrew, and you're looking at the back wall. Breathing, making sure you're nice and tall through the spine as you're doing this rotational stretch. It's almost like we're growing taller in the stretch. And let's release. Let's do the same thing on the other side, other hand holding onto the opposite knee. Then you're gonna wrap your other hand around the chair, sitting tall. You're gonna twist on its axis, rotating around almost like you're a corkscrew, growing a little taller as you twist around and you're looking at the back wall. Make sure you're breathing. and relax. Okay, for the next stretch, I'm going to sit sideways. Now, this is one of the stretches I was saying that we're going to be slouching. So we're going to move ourselves back in the seat, and we're going to lean into the backrest of the chair, and you're going to slouch a tiny bit. From here, we're going to bring those arms back behind our ears like so, noticing that my elbows are pointing sideways, right? My elbows are not pointing forward. I'm opening them up and I'm pointing them out to the side. So you're stretching open your chest. And in this position, you're going to go up and over the back of the seat to feel a stretch in your upper back and then across the chest as well. Just be careful here that your chair is sturdy and you're not actually going to fall back over the chair. We're just stretching up and over the backrest of the seat, and we're just holding for a few seconds, breathing. And we come back up, drop the arms for a second, relax for a moment. And then we're going to do that again. Hands up behind our head. Remember, the elbows point out to the side, not forward. Open the elbows out to the side. And then we're stretching up and over the back of the chair again, holding for a few seconds. And then we're relaxing. We're going to sit up nice and tall again and shuffle to the front of the seat again. Okay. We're now at the front of the seat. And we're now going to go into some marching, some nice gentle marching on the spot. Noticing that I'm lifting my legs up nice and high, and I'm sitting up nice and high, so I'm not doing this as I'm marching. My feet aren't shuffling. I'm sitting tall. My legs are coming up almost to meet the height of my chest, and I'm swinging those arms in opposite directions. And if I go sideways for a second, as I'm swinging my arms, you'll see that I'm swinging my arms just as far back as I'm swinging them forward. So what I don't want to see is this. Our arms are just like this. We want to swing them back as much as we're swinging them forward. Okay, keep going. Nice and tall. Try not to get low. Sit tall. Imagine there's a book balancing on your head. You don't want it to fall forward by leaning. Nicely done. Keep the legs going. We're now going to stop the arms and hold on to our chairs. Now, we're going to take this marching a little further, and this time as we lift our leg, we're going to push our foot out straight, bring it back up, and lower. Other side. Lift, push, lift, and lower. Lift, push, lift, lower. And as you're doing this movement, try to make sure we're not going like this, nice and low with our chest. We want to sit tall through the entire movement. So it's like our height does not change. So if you look at the top of my head as I'm doing this, I am not going low, high, low. I'm staying at the same height the entire time, just the legs moving. And you want to try to lift the leg as high as you can. So it's like you're showing me the bottom of your foot. We don't want to be down here, doesn't count. We're lifting the leg high. Shoulders away from the ears. Try not to hold any tension at the top. Sitting nice and tall. Good, nicely done. A few more. If I'm doing anything too fast in the class, you're welcome to slow it down as well, okay? Please don't feel like you have to do things at the same speed I'm doing. If it's too fast, that's okay. Slow it down as long as we're still doing the same technique. I don't want you to slow it down and then we're like this, because then it doesn't count. We're sitting tall as we're doing this movement. One more. And let's rest for a second. Reevaluate your posture. Are we sitting up nice and tall, or are we like this? We're going to move on to our ankles next, and we're going to go toes up, heels up, toes up, heels up. Keep going from the side. This is what my feet look like. Toes up, heels up, toes up, heels up. And as I'm doing this, same as before, I'm imagining I'm balancing that book on my head, and I'm going to maintain the same height. So what I'm not going to do is try to slouch as I'm doing these movements. I'm sure nobody's doing it like that, but we're sitting up nice and tall so that our posture is unchanged, and it's just our ankles that's driving the movement, but the rest of our body is nice and strong, nice and still. Keep going. Nicely done, everybody. Let's try opposite ways now. So one side is going to have the heel lifted, the other side is going to have the toes lifted, and then we're going to switch. So from the side, like this, one side, the heel is lifting, the toes are lifting on the other side, and then we switch. Like that. Okay, keep going. Nicely done. Again, if this is too fast, feel free to slow it down. Sitting up nice and tall still. So we're not like this, nice and tall at the front of our seats. Let's do 4 more. 3, 2, 1, and rest. We're gonna float our arms up, palms up. We're gonna turn one arm down. So you're turning the paw down towards the floor or behind you if you can. The other side stays up. And we're going to swap our arms like that. So one side, the palm is facing up. The other one, the palm is facing down or further back if you can. And we're just kind of twisting our arms here, rotating through the shoulders, nice and tall as we're doing this. And as you're twisting, we're going to try not to do this and twist our body from side to side if you can. Keep your body nice and upright with just the shoulders twisting. Nicely done. Let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Turn both palms up. We're now going to pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Palms down again for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to drop the arms, shake them out. Okay. I'm going to turn sideways. We are now going to do our sitting, or sorry, not sitting, our standing practice, our sit to stand practice. And for those who are new today, don't worry, you can join us when you're ready. And what we're going to start with is we're going to make sure we're not sitting at the back of our seat like this. So remember earlier we were talking about wanting to be in an activated position at the front of our seat, because if we're back here, our weight is too far back behind our base of support, in this case, our feet. And so it's going to be really, really tough to stand in this position because my weight's so far back. If I'm trying to stand up, I end up doing this and my weight is all back here and I have to then walk my weight forward and then have to grab hold of something to then pull myself up. Or I would have to push my legs against the chair to then help me stand up. Both of those things are not very efficient ways to stand. And so what we're going to do is we're going to set ourselves up for success as much as possible. We're going to sit tall, bring ourselves to the front of the seat, feet flat onto the floor, and we're going to try to get our center of gravity over our base of support. So we're bring our center of gravity forward, like someone's pulling your shirt forward. Bring your weight forward over your feet. Once your entire weight is over your feet, then you can push the floor away from you as hard as you can, keeping your weight over your feet. And then to sit back down, we're doing the exact same thing. We're hinging at the hips, chest forward, but the entire time I'm keeping my weight over my feet. So I'm kind of balancing my weight over my feet the whole time. And then I sit back down. So that's what you want to try with your sit to stand. You want to go as slow as you can, because if we're using momentum to swing, then we're not really using the muscle control that we're looking for in this exercise. So really practice going nice and slow. Really feel your weight shifting over your base of support, and then your ability to keep your center of gravity over your base of support as you stand. And then keeping your center of gravity over your base of support as you sit down in this nice controlled manner, to help kind of draw some more body awareness into ourselves, to feel where your body is in the space around you. And this is really important because doing this kind of practice of keeping your center of gravity over your base of support is essentially how we balance in everyday life. So as we're walking and moving, we're moving in different directions, but it's our ability to keep our center of gravity balanced on top of your base of support that stops us from falling. Of course, balance is a lot more complicated than just that. There's lots of things working against us when you have Parkinson's to keep your center of gravity on top of your base of support. But with that said, this is what we're practicing. We're practicing keeping our center of gravity over our base of support as much as we can. So join me here if you haven't already to practice your sit to stand. And then for those who have been here for the last number of weeks, I want you to try the single leg bias. You either have one leg a little further forward, so we're biasing the back leg. So this is the leg I'm biasing, and this leg is, I'm imagining there's eggshells underneath. So I'm not stomping on it. It's lightly placed onto the floor, and I'm bringing my center of gravity over my base of support, and I'm pushing with my base of support. I'm balancing on my base of support, and then I sit down the same. So do 3 on one side, switch to 3 on the other. Or if you would like to, you can have that leg completely off the floor. So you're doing a single leg stand and you're keeping your center of gravity on top of your base of support. Same on the other side. So you can either do a single leg stand completely, or you can have the leg down on the floor to bias the one leg, but less challenging than actually doing a single leg stand. Or if that's too difficult, don't worry. Let's stick with the 2 legs on the floor, equally on the floor. That's absolutely fine as well. So choose what level you would like to do. Both feet flat on the floor, one biasing back, one biasing forward, or completely off the floor, whichever one works for you. I'm going to stick to the standard one, just in case anyone's having any trouble and you want to see what I mean about the center of gravity being over the base of support. So join me here if you haven't already. Choose your levels, and I want you to go nice and slow, nice and controlled. Really take this time to engage your body awareness and feel where your center of gravity is on top of your base of support. I know I talk a little too much in these classes sometimes, so I will zip it for now and let you concentrate. Remember to breathe nice and slow and controlled. Nicely done, everyone. If you're having trouble standing up and you're not able to lift your bottom off the seat without falling back, then you might need to adjust where your center of gravity is or where your position on the chair is. Always start at the front of your seat, so you're already starting with your center of gravity as far forward as possible. Also, the lower the chair, the more difficult this is going to be. So if you're struggling already, then I would suggest sitting in a slightly taller chair. Make sure you stand all the way up before you sit back down again. We don't want to be in a semi-standing position and then sit down again. You want to go all the way up, squeeze your bum cheeks in. You're standing nice and tall for a moment, and then you sit down again. Nice and slow, nice and controlled. Same with if you're doing the single leg bias or the single leg standing version. Let's do 4 more in your own time. And on the 4th stand, you're going to stay standing. Take your time. There's no rush. And on the 4th stand, remember you're staying standing. Okay. Good job, everybody. All right. So We're now moving to the standing portion of the class. Now, remember this class, we do supported standing, meaning that you're standing up, but you're holding on to something for a bit of balance support if you need. You don't have to, but bear in mind that this class is geared towards a lower impact, a lower intensity class, and maybe for those who are a bit less mobile. So please do feel free to hold on if you need to, okay? I don't want anyone to fall in the class, so please be careful. Now, I'm gonna stand sideways to you with the chair in front. At home, you're welcome to face me, but I'm gonna face sideways because I want you to see what I'm doing with my legs and my hips and my trunk in this first exercise. Okay, so this first exercise, we're gonna do our squats. And our squats are very similar to our stand to sits that we just did, except we're not actually gonna have a chair behind us to sit down in. So here's what it's gonna look like. I'm gonna stick my bottom back, bend my knees, chest forward, like I'm about to sit down on a chair, and then I changed my mind. I'm gonna stand back up and squeeze my bottom cheeks together so I'm nice and tall. And then we're gonna keep repeating this. We're squatting down, and then we're standing up. Now, when we're doing squats, most of the squat motion is coming from our hips. It's a hip exercise. It's not a knee exercise per se, so we're not doing this, right? So this is not the same as this. So essentially you're imagining your hip is the main focus. We're sticking the hip back, bring the hip forward. So we're not doing this, right? We're not just getting shorter. That's not a squat, although that is a plie and ballet, but that's not what we're trying to do here. We're sticking our bottom back and then we're bringing it forward. And as we're doing the squat motion here, so join me here, as you're doing the squat motion here, I want you to really feel your weight distribution, kind of like what we mentioned before. As you squat down, your weight moves back slightly into those heels. And then as you stand up, your weight moves slightly forward into the middle of your feet again. So as we stick our bottom back, the weight goes into our heels. As we stand back up, the weight goes back into the middle of the feet. So what we were mentioning earlier about keeping our center of gravity over our base of support, this is sort of like an extension of that. We're practicing that. We're practicing kind of shifting our center of gravity over our base of support. And now as we're doing the squats, we're going to take it a little further. We're going to do the squat and we're shifting our weight to our heels. Then we stand up, shift the weight to the middle of our feet. Then we're going to shift the weight even further to the balls of our feet to do a rise. And then we're going to shift the weight back to the middle of the feet to lower down. So again, we're squatting, standing up, weight to the front of the feet to rise, weight to the middle of the feet, weight to the back of the feet, middle of the feet, front of the feet, middle of the feet. So keep practicing this. Make sure you're holding on to something if you need to, okay? Especially on the rise, because I don't want this to be a balance exercise per se. It's more of a strengthening exercise for our calf muscles, but also for some body awareness, for your ability to really feel where your center of gravity is shifting over your base of support. So you'll probably remember the very beginning of our class series, we did these. You remember we did these kind of swaying where we were bringing our weight to the back of the feet and to the front of the feet. Yeah, you can remember that? So this is sort of like an extension of that, except now we're moving our other joints in the body too. We're shifting our weight to sort of the limits of our base of support, but in a more functional way than just swaying on the spot per se. So make sure you're holding on for the rise portion because we're not doing this for balance. We're not doing a balance exercise. We're doing more of a strengthening exercise and also a body awareness type exercise. Keep going. Really feel that weight shift. Imagine there's a pressure cushion underneath your feet and you should be able to track where you're applying pressure on your feet. Nicely done. Let's do 2 more. And on this last one, we're gonna hold our squat and we're gonna pulse here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push the hips forward and stand back up. So as we're pulsing, it's the hips that's kind of doing the work. We're not just bending the knees, but it's the hips because remember, a squat exercise comes from the hips. Let's try that again. We're squatting down, pulsing now for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stand back up, squeeze the bum cheeks together to stand up tall. And again, squatting down. Now we're pulsing for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, squeeze the bum cheeks to stand up nice and tall. And again, squatting down, pulsing for 4, 3, 2, 1, standing back up, squeezing the bum cheeks together. Good. Now we go down for the last time and we pulse for 1, 2, and standing back up. Shake those legs out for a moment. Nicely done, everyone. How are we doing? The chat box is quiet, so I hope that means everyone's working hard. Okay. Our next exercise is going to be our donkey kicks. So if you were here last time, you'll probably remember this. So here's what we're doing. We're standing up tall, holding onto a chair or a table or whatever you got at home for balance. And we're going to hinge forward at the hips, just ever so slightly. So we're kind of leaning forward a little bit. Now, bear in mind, this kind of hinging at the hips is not the same as this. Right? So me curving my back is very different to hinging at the hips. We want to hinge at the hips. One of our legs, we're going to bring the knee up to the chair, and then we're going to push the heel back behind us. Then from here, we're going to go for 10 pulses with the heel leading, and then we're going to bring the knee back up and lower it back down. Now, when we're doing this reach movement and the pulsing, it's really important that our torso stays still. So I don't want to see this, where we kind of use our back and we kick back, and then as we pulse, we're doing this with the trunk. I'm sure no one's actually doing it like that. But we want to try to keep our trunk as still as possible. So it's like we're a statue from the hips up, and it's only this leg that's moving. The rest of my body is completely still, completely strong and rigid. I'm not doing this, and I'm not twisting my hips, and I'm not kind of shaking on the spot. I want to try to keep myself as rigid as possible. So let's try. When you're ready, we're going to hinge forward at the hips. You're going to bring one knee up to the chair, reach the heel back. The movement is leading with the heel, nice and strong through the torso, no moving. Ready? We're going to pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the knee back up and lower. Stand up nice and tall. Other side. Hinge forward, knee forward. Push the heel back. Lead the movement with the heel. Everything nice and strong, no moving. Here we go. That heel is going to pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Other side, same thing. We're going to keep repeating for a little bit. We're going to go for 10 in total. We've done 2 so far. Hinge forward. Ready? Knee forward. Bring the leg back. Keep your trunk still. Here we go. Pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And stand up tall. Other side. Knee forward. Reach the heel back. Pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand tall. We've done 4 so far. And again, other leg. Reaching back. Keep the trunk still for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the leg in. Other side. Leg back. Keep the trunk still. You're squeezing your bum cheek to help with the pulse. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the leg back in. You've done 6 so far. 4 left to go. Again, hinge forward, knee forward, push the heel back. You're leading the movement with the heel. Don't let your body move for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand up nice and tall. Other leg, knee forward, reaching the heel back, body completely still, pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it back in and down. 2 more. Here we go. Lean forward, knee up. Bring the leg back, pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the leg in, last side. Here we go. Knee up, heel back. Keep the body still for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Shake out the legs a little bit. Have a drink of water if you need. How are we doing, everyone? Hopefully good. Okay. So the good news is we're done the donkey kicks to the back, but the bad news is we got more to do to the side this time. We got to work on the side hip muscles too. So here's what we're gonna do with the donkey kicks to the side. Now I'm holding the chair onto the side because if I have it forward, you won't be able to see me, but you're more than welcome to have a chair forward if you like, or to the side, whatever works for you. Now here's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna lean away, from the leg that I'm gonna be using. So if I'm using this leg, I'm going to lean my body away a little bit. And I'm going to bring my knee up exactly like before, except rather than bring the heel back, I'm going to bring the outside of the foot, so the heel and the outer border of the foot out to the side. And I'm kind of leaning away a little bit so there's room. And I'm going to do the same thing, pulsing. But as I'm pulsing, it's really important. My body's not doing this and my chair's not going like this. I'm keeping myself nice and still, nice and strong. And it's just the leg leading with the outer borders of the foot. Just the leg, pulsing for 10, bring the knee up, lower, and we do the same thing on the other side. So it's probably easier to hold in front because you hold to the side, you have to keep switching the chair from side to side, and you'll probably hit the chair on either side. So now that I've shown you what it looks like with the chair to the side, hopefully with the chair in front of me now, you still know what I'm talking about. So same thing to the other side. If I'm doing this leg, I'm going to lean away from that leg. I'm going to bring the knee up. Then the outer borders of my foot is going to lead the movement, pulsing without my body doing this. As I'm pulsing, I'm keeping myself nice and still, pulsing for 10. Bring the knee back in and lower. Okay. We're going to go for 10 rounds as well. Ready? Here we go. Knee up. Outer borders of the foot placing out to the side. So the outer border of the foot is facing the ceiling. My kneecap and my toes are pointing forward. I'm not like this, okay? Keep them pointing forward. Keep the body rigid, pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the knee in and relax. Good. Same thing on the other side. Knee up. Outer borders of the foot out to the side, pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the knee in and lower. We've done 2 so far. So just make sure we're not shaking too much as we're doing the pulsing. You want to keep yourself nice and rigid. Here we go. Number 3. Knee up, outer borders of the foot, pointing up at the ceiling, pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the knee in and lower. Very good. Other side. Knee up, foot out to the side, toes pointing forward, body nice and rigid, nice and still. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it in and down. Good. You've done 4 so far. Here we go. Knee up, out to the side, pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knee up and rest. Good. Other side. Knee up, out to the side, body nice and still for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knee up and down. Very good. You've done 6. Here we go. Knee up, out to the side for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Other side. Here we go. knee up, out to the side, pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. We've got 2 left. Here we go. Knee up, out to the side, knees and toes pointing forward, trunk nice and still for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower. Last time on the other side, knee up, reach out to the side, pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Shake out those legs. Nicely done, everybody. Well done. Okay, I'm gonna move the chair out to the side. Good, shake out those legs. Very well done. Okay, we're gonna give the legs a break. I do have another couple of exercises for the legs, but I wanna move on to the shoulders and upper back and arms for a moment. And if we have time, we'll come back to the legs. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna find a wall, a blank wall, ideally without doorknobs, without any picture frames. I just don't want you to hit your arms on anything. We're gonna find a wall and we're gonna stand with our back against the wall. So my hips and my shoulders are against the wall. And we're gonna go for some of our shoulder and upper back strengthening exercises that we did last time. So standing up nice and tall, shoulders against the wall, we're going to try to squeeze our shoulder blades together, almost like I've got a pencil between my shoulder blades and I'm doing this. I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together. So I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together such that the back of my shoulders are on the wall. I'm going to bring those arms up into a Y position, like the letter Y in the alphabet. I'm squeezing my shoulder blades back. I'm trying to press the entire length. Let me move over. The entire length of my arms on the wall. And I'm going to slide my arms down to a W position, like the letter W. And I'm still keeping my shoulder blades squeezing back, my arms against the wall. And then I'm going back up to a Y. And then I'm going to relax for a second. So I'm going from a Y to a W to a Y. And the entire time, I'm trying to keep my arms onto the wall and my shoulder blades squeezing back. And I'm going to try to keep my shoulders away from the ears, okay? So I'm squeezing back, I'm sliding along the wall like I'm dusting the wall. Let's try it together. Let's go for 6. So back against the wall, arms up into a Y shape, shoulders squeezing back, arms against the wall. Here we go. Slide the arm into a W shape, keep the arms against the wall, squeezing the shoulder blades together, pushing back up to a Y position, and relax for a second. That's 1. Try it again, arms up, squeeze the shoulder blades back, press the arms into the wall, pull down into a W shape, keep squeezing the shoulder blades together, push back up to a Y position. That's 2, relax for a second. Good, try it again. Arms up to a Y shape, squeeze the shoulder blades back, arms against the wall, slide down into a W, you're dusting the wall behind you, squeeze the shoulder blades together, keep the arms on the wall, back up to a Y, and relax. Good, that's 3. We got 3 more. And for the last 3, we're gonna make them continuous, okay? Arms back up to a Y shape, squeeze your shoulder blades together, press the arms into the wall. Here we go, sliding down to a W, back up to the Y. 2 more, slide down to the W, up to the Y. 1 more, sliding down to the W, up to the Y, and relax. Shake out those arms for a second. Nicely done. Okay. Now, our next one, we're still standing with our back against the wall. And this time, we're going to keep our elbows on the wall. We're going to bend the elbows like that. And then we're going to keep the elbows into our ribs. And we're going to open those arms out to the side, almost like you're in a sort of a low W shape. You're going to open those arms as far as you can, and then you're going to glide the arms up to a W shape and then pull them back down, in and lower. So I'll show you that again. Bending the elbows at 90 degrees, opening the arms out to the side like you're trying to touch the wall. Keep the arms there. You're sliding them up to a W shape, pull them back down, pull your elbows back down towards your ribs, close the arms again, and lower. Okay, I'll show you that one more time. Bending the elbow, opening the arms, keep them there, slide up to a W, you're still dusting the wall, pulling the elbows back down, closing the arms, and lower. So you're kind of doing lots of a shoulder external rotation work, but you're also stretching the chest a little bit as you're doing that. Okay, should we try? We're gonna go for 6 together. Here we go. Bend the elbows, open them out to the side, slide them up to a W shape, pull the elbows back down, close the arms, and lower. That's 1. How we doing? Good? Okay, let's try it again. Bend the elbows, open them out to the side, sliding them up to a W on the wall, keep them on the wall if you can, sliding down, close the arms, and lower. That's 2. Here's number 3. Bend the elbows, open them up, slide up to a W, pull them back down, close, and lower. Nicely done. You've got 3 left. Here we go. Bend the elbows, open them out to the side, slide up to a W, pull them back down, close the arms, and lower. So the whole time you're trying to kind of glide the arms against the wall if you can. 2 more. Bend the elbows, open the arms, try to touch the wall if you can, slide them up to a W while trying to get them as far onto the wall as you can. Pull down, close, and lower. Last one, here we go. Bend the elbows, open them out to the side, try to touch the wall if you can, keep them touching the wall, see if you can slide your arms up to a W, pull them down. Now this time we're going to pulse outwards into the wall for 10. Here we go, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Closing the arms, lower, and shake out the arms. Nicely done, everybody. Okay, looks like we have 10 minutes left, so we might not have time for our last leg exercise. Although I think maybe what we'll do instead of the leg exercise is we'll do some multi-directional stepping. So for this one, you can have a chair to hold on to as well, or a wall or a table, whatever you've got. I'm gonna leave the chair out of the picture for now so you can see where my legs are going, okay? So just like we mentioned earlier, we're practicing keeping our center of gravity on top of our base of support. Specifically, when we're moving, when we're walking around and doing things, as our base of support is moving, we still need to try to keep our center of gravity on top of our moving base of support, and that's how we prevent falls. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to practice with moving base of support and getting our center of gravity to go with us. So we're going to do this. We're going to take a step forward, come back, other leg, step forward, come back, other leg out to the side, come back, other leg out to the side, come back, other leg, step behind, come back, other leg, step behind. So essentially we're going forward, forward, side, side, back, back. And the whole time we're doing this, we're not just tapping our leg out to the side, but we're stepping on the leg, bring it back. And we're using our body. We'll bring the center of gravity forward and back. We'll bring the center of gravity over to the stepping leg and back to the middle. Center of gravity out to the stepping leg, back to the middle. Center of gravity backwards to the stepping leg, back to the middle. Back, middle. So that's what we're doing, okay? We're gonna practice that. We're gonna do 6 rounds in total together. You're practicing bringing your center of gravity along with you with every step that you take, okay? Let's try it together. Here we go. Forward, push back, forward. Now we're gonna go out to the side. Really feel where your center of gravity is. Out to the side. Now we're going back. Other leg. Back. Good. So that's round 1. So remember, you can hold on for this. I just don't have a chair here, so you can see my legs. Here we go, round 2. Pretend I'm holding on. Round 2, forward. Forward. Don't forget that you're bringing your center of gravity with you. We're not just stepping out, we're bringing our center of gravity back out to the side, other side. Now to the back. You bring your center of gravity with you over your base of support. Back. Good, that's round 2. Here we go. We go forward. Forward. Side, pretend I'm holding on. Other side. Back. Back. Nicely done. Forward. Forward. Out to the side. Side. Back. Back. Good, you got 2 more rounds. Forward, really feel this kind of movement being nice and smooth. It's not jerky trying to get our weight back. We're trying to bring our center of gravity over to the stepping leg. It's almost like a dance. It's flowing. It's going towards the direction that you're stepping. 1 more round. Forward. Feel the weight shift. Forward. Out to the side. You bring your center of gravity out to the side. And now we go back. 1 more. Back. And rest. Shake out those arms. Shake out those legs. Okay, let's do a little bit of a stretch. So you can hold on to a wall in front of you or to the side. We're going to bring 1 leg back, 1 leg forward. The leg forward is going to be bent. The leg back is going to be straightened, and you're going to try to straighten that knee as much as you can. You'll reach that back heel to the floor, and you should feel a stretch in the back calf muscle. Hold it here for a few seconds. Keep trying to push that knee straight. Reach that heel to the floor. Breathing. Good. Let's switch sides. Other leg back. Really reach that back heel to the floor. Straighten that back knee. Holding here. Good. Let's do our hamstring stretch. 1 leg forward. You're kind of bending your bottom back. Reach your arms down as far as you can, that leg, or if you need to hold on, that's fine too. You should feel a stretch in that back thigh. And then let's switch legs, other side. Feel that stretch in the back thigh muscle. Good, standing back up. We're going to stretch our front thigh muscle this time. You've got 2 options for this. Option number 1, if you're very flexible, and you can do this, you can hold onto your foot, pull it back towards your bottom, and you're trying to line your knees up. So don't let your knee come out to the side or forward. You want to keep those knees lined and push the hips forward to feel the stretch on the thigh. Now, this is too difficult. Get a chair behind you, and you can place the foot onto the chair behind you, still keeping the knees lined up. So you don't want the knee out to the side or in front of you. You want the knees to be lined up, push the hips forward, and you'll still feel that same stretch at the front of the hip and also the thigh muscle. The higher the chair, the more you feel it because the more your knee bends. And let's switch legs. Same thing on the other side. You can either hold onto your foot and pull it towards your bottom, or you can have the foot on a chair behind you and push your bottom forward. Make sure the knees are lined up. Again, the higher the chair, the more of a stretch because the more your knee will be bent. Nicely done. And release. Let's have a sit down. So when we're sitting down in our chair, we're not falling back into our chair, but we're going to practice our slow stand to sit, keeping your center of gravity over your base of support to sit down. Okay, so when we sit down, the first stretch we're going to do is going to be for the back. So we're going to shuffle back in a chair, lean into the back of the seat, and we're going to slouch a little bit, just like we did at the beginning. And we're going to bring the arms up behind our ears, trying to make sure that your elbows are pointing out to the side, not forward. So really open them up. And then we're going to stretch up and over the back of the chair. And just feel if you're able to go a little further than you did at the beginning, holding for a few seconds. And release. We're going to sit up nice and tall, shuffle to the front of our seat again. And this time, we're going to grab hold of our opposite knee. Our other hand's going to wrap around the back of the seat, sit tall. We're going to rotate around like a corkscrew to look at the back wall into this rotational stretch. And hopefully you can go a little further than you did at the beginning. Breathing. And release. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Take your hand, grab hold of the opposite knee, other hand wrapping around the back of the chair, sitting tall, and we're going to twist around like a corkscrew to look at the back wall. Nicely done. And release. Let's take our hand, grab hold of the opposite elbow, and we're going to pull it towards our shoulder. And then the arm that's being stretched, you're dropping the shoulder down. You should feel a bit of a pull through the outside of the shoulder. And release. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Take your hand, grab hold of the opposite elbow, pull it towards your shoulder on the same side. Kind of drop the shoulder of the arm being stretched, holding it here. Nicely done. And release. Let's circle the shoulders, circling them back. And let's circle forward. And relax. You are done. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for the Stretch and Strengthen exercise series. Today is our last class. It was really wonderful to have you all here. Thank you for joining us. And remember, the exercise classes are recorded, so they are on the Parkinson Society BC YouTube channel if you want to rewatch any of the classes. And be sure to sign up for our future exercise classes coming up in March, April, and May. They should be going out to advertising. I think the May ones haven't gone out yet, but the March and April ones definitely are on the website. So please do have a look and register for anything that strikes your interest, and keep exercising. Well done on getting through the series, and I look forward to seeing you again.